Hey guys, I'm back to talk more about Breaking Dawn Part 1 because I feel like there's a lot more to say about this movie. And like my Transformers 3 video, I'm gonna have an open discussion. Feel free to talk about it in the comments. If you like the movie, if you hate the movie, if you have anything to say. But I'm not gonna put this as a spoiler because pretty much thanks to the trailer, everyone and their mother knows how this movie is going to end. I mean, they literally showed the birth scene. Come on. But I recently watched Doug Walker's 35-minute rant on the movie, and he brought up some interesting points. It was a lot of fun. You should definitely go see it if you haven't already on thatguywithglasses.com. And there's some interesting points. I like how it was interesting what he said about the issue of abortion. That kind of flew over my head when I saw it. It really did fly over my head. But he does make some good points about how no guy would ever react that way if, like, if your girlfriend got pregnant, you would, like, blame her and, like, say, oh, yeah, kill your baby. But I think it did, unlike what he said, I think it did kind of tackle both sides of the argument. Because, like, Edward's argument, which is the, like, against non-pro-life, whatever you call that, and Bella's argument, which is pro-life, they did kind of discuss that a little bit, but at least that's what I thought. But that birth scene, man, I'm still reeling from it. It was just, that was like 3 Aaron Ralston's arms, 5 televised torture scenes from Kick-Ass, plus the entire body count of The Departed in blood factor. I mean, it was sick. I mean, when I saw the movie, there was this pregnant woman sitting in front of me, and I was like, when I saw her, I was like, oh god, she's gonna, like, throw a bar for premature contractions or something. And I'm shocked she kept a strong stomach through this whole movie, because not once did she ever throw up or leave or anything. I think she left once, but for certain I was to go to the bathroom. But I saw her and I was like, she's toast. Yeah. That was way too sick for a Twilight movie. It was just, I can't believe it got away with that with the PG-13. Like, what really makes me mad is that I read on IMDb that the sex scene got them an R rating and they cut it down to get a PG-13. That they tried to get a PG-13 rating baffles me. It's an R-rated book, folks. It's a book all about sex and the consequences of sex. You can't cut it down just so you make money. And then the birth scene comes up and they went all out and showed everything. And they still got a PG-13. How'd the MPAA let that slide? They have to cut down the sex to get an R rating, but all the blood and the placenta falling out? How did that get to PG-13? I think this movie should be, like, re-rated R. It was that bad. So, some people complain that The Dark Knight is too rough for PG-13. Twilight was worse than The Dark Knight. The Dark Knight is an episode of Barney compared to this. And it's just like, as I said before, it felt like 2 different movies. Like, it totally was so sick and so monstrous and so just wildly disturbing. But I don't quite know what to say about this. Well, I watched Revolution Review's video on this, and I 100% agree with you. That's literally my entire thoughts on Twilight in that video, if you should go watch it. And, because I agree, like, a romance alone will not sustain a movie. That's when movies like Titanic, Pearl Harbor, or any other of those big romance movies, they add conflict in there. Like, take away the ship sinking in Titanic, and you've just got a basic love story on a boat. There's no real difference. And But like Nicholas Sparks movies and Twilight is just a love story. Nicholas Sparks doesn't even try. But Twilight, when it tries to add conflict, it's all somehow related to the love story here. And you can't really do that. There has to be some conflict outside of the love story, because that's what makes it interesting. And it's all just on a triangle. And for me, the sign of a good love triangle is when you can imagine your character with either of the potential love interests. Pearl Harbor, great example. Like, at first, with was it Kate Beckinsale, that movie? I think it was. First, she's with Ben Affleck for the first hour of the movie. I'm like, okay, these guys are a good couple. Then she's with Josh Hartnett. And I'm like, oh wow, they're a good couple too. Oh, I'm so conflicted. I don't know who she should end up with. And I was kind of shocked when, at the end, that happened. Not to spoil Pearl Harbor for you. So, that's a good love triangle. Problem with Twilight's love triangle is that Kristen Stewart has no chemistry with Taylor Lautner. It's like, they're just friends. Maybe that's the point. No matter how romantic Jacob gets, like, they're just friends. And maybe that's the point, because Bella is just such a lousy person. Like, she's like, Jacob's like, I love you. Bella's like, I don't care. I'm with Edward, you idiot. She and Edward, she has good chemistry with Robert Pattinson. I'll admit that. So, I guess you could call me Team Edward. In my opinion, Bella and Edward are the better couple in this triangle, but werewolves are cooler. So I'm a little split on that. You could call me Team Edward, but it's, in my opinion, it's whoever they saw first situation. Except for Pearl Harbor, because they have such good chemistry with. She has such good chemistry with either of them. But she only has chemistry with Edward. And the guy who directed this movie also directed Dreamgirls, which Dreamgirls is, in my opinion, it deals with heavy subject matter, but at the end of the day, it's kind of a beautiful movie, very well handled, but it has dark subject matter, like drugs and all, what have you in Dreamgirls. I've only seen that movie once. I barely remember what was going on. And Breaking Dawn could have been the same thing, heavy subject matter, but it could have been beautiful, because the baby comes out of this. But it just focuses so much on the dark subject matter, and that loses sight of the movie. It's like, okay, stop the movie, stop the plot, stop the romance, stop the love story, here's some blood and gore, cut her open, cut her vagina open with Edward's teeth, yeah, we're gonna spill the blood, have it squirt all over everybody, cut her stomach open with a scalpel, yeah, we're bloody, we're hardcore, we're like a horror film, only aimed at the tweens. Okay, back to the story. That's pretty much what I think. It was pretty ridiculous how bloody that scene was. I still haven't forgiven it. And my sister brought up a very good point after she saw this movie. She says, okay, so, end of the movie, after Bella gives birth, she's pretty much dead. That was a new addition to the movie, by the way. She's dead for, like, so long. She's lying there dead. And Edward and Jacob are the only ones who care. Like, Rosalie's holding Renesmee going, hey, and, like, the wolf pack don't care, they just want to kill the baby. And Alice and Jasper are nowhere to be seen. Emmett's nowhere to be seen. Carlisle and Esme, if Carlisle was there, I don't remember that. Was Esme there? Someone remind me, someone yell at me because I don't know. And no one seemed to care that Bella died until, like, the very end. Not even Jacob. Well, Jacob imprinted on Renesmee. I think he's excused. But so, thanks to my sister for bringing that up. And is there anything else I can say about this? This is a free-for-all, people. If you have anything that bothered you about Breaking Dawn, post it in the comments. I may or may not respond to you, and we might get a discussion going. But it's just, I thought it was too unfocused to be a good Twilight movie. The other Twilight movies at least set a good tone. This one was like, first half's a romance, second half's a bloody horror flick. I didn't say the word. I did not say the word you think I said. And I had a couple musings about this movie. Like, there's this one scene between the forest between Jacob and Leah. Leah says, "Okay, I'll do anything except go back to Sam and be the pathetic ex-girlfriend he can't get away from." And I'm thinking to myself, lady, why were you in your ex-boyfriend's pack to begin with? Drives me nuts. Like, that's one of my biggest pet peeves about this series. Okay, just because she's a werewolf doesn't mean she has to be in apparently the only werewolf pack around. Just, like, why is she under her ex-boyfriend's rule? Because he's the alpha. Was that the only reason she was in the pack to begin with? So she would break off and go with Jacob? Like, I think I realized the other day, I realized a while back actually, that Twilight, almost every other character in Twilight is utterly useless. There's so many characters in Twilight, and like next to none of them do anything. Like I should make a list. Like, Clearwaters don't do anything that much. Seth killed Riley in Eclipse, so he's kind of excused, even though besides that he does nothing. Yeah, Sam and Leah joined Jacob's pack, but they don't do anything. Like, they never do anything. In the movie, they did something. In the movie, I think Leah fought Sam in the movie while they were wolves. But that was a movie-only edition. In the book, they don't do anything. Most of the wolf pack don't do anything. Emily, the girl Sam imprinted on, oh god, she did nothing. She was useless. And I heard she was named after Stephenie Meyer's sister, and like, if I were Emily Meyer, I'd be ashamed that she named the most useless character after me. Actually, just scratch that. The most useless character in the whole saga is Jane. She does nothing. People, I'm sorry. I don't care if they cast one of the greatest child actors out there to play her. She did nothing. She won't do anything. Like, this huge, like, that's my biggest problem with Twilight. In the book, they may or may not change this for Breaking Dawn Part 2. But it's all this build-up to nothing. Like, they find out the Volturi is coming because they because they apparently broke the law and made this half-human, half-vampire baby. Sorry. And Bella says, I think one point Bella says, they're gonna kill us all, we're all gonna die, we need to prepare, we need to team up with the wolves, we need to fight back, we're gonna have this huge battle, and I'm gonna use my mind shield to shield everyone from Jane's psychic attack. And it's just a conversation. They just have this huge 2-chapter conversation about everything. They don't do anything. Jane didn't do anything. Jane didn't use any of her powers. No one did anything. The Volturi are useless. They're the worst villains ever. They just sit back and watch the action and then say, oh yeah, we were behind everything. We did it the whole time. They just take credit for everything. It's just, at least Harry Potter built this grand, epic battle. They killed off all the characters. They fought everyone. It was this huge battle. It was this for the ages. It took up the whole movie. They even Transformers. Transformers built this huge battle, and it was epic. And they killed all the Decepticons. And Twilight, what is it built to? Nothing. It doesn't build anything. They Volturi come, they talk, and the Volturi leave. No one dies. There's no sacrifices. There's nothing. No heads. I was so mad when people say Twilight is the next Harry Potter. In fact, a friend of mine, she said she saw a magazine article on her computer that said Twilight the best thing since Harry Potter, and she punched her computer. And she almost set it on fire. She considered setting her computer on fire. And I'm on her side. Harry Potter is an epic tale of a boy and his destiny, and this grand battle, good and evil, right and wrong, the battle lines are drawn, there's a huge fight. Twilight's a love triangle, nothing more and a lot less. I mean, it's ridiculous. The comparisons have to stop, people. There's nothing alike. Just because Twilight has mythological creatures does not in any way mean it's like Harry Potter. And when it says, oh, Twilight and Harry Potter, they're so the same, we should compare them, we should rip it off, we should split it into 2 parts because Twilight's an epic. It's a love story. Nothing more. You need to realize that, people. I mean, if you get excited about the love story, that's fine, I'm not going to blame you for it. But if you call it an epic, no, it's wrong. I think that's all I'm going to say on Breaking Dawn Part 1, because If you agree with me, let me know. If you disagree with me, let me know. If you have anything to add to this, let me know. And I'll see you on the flip side. Frenzy227 out.